Governor Janet Mills is going to give the state of the state tonight. Well, I'd like to lay down some reality first so that we can have a real conversation about the real state of our state. It's hard to know where to begin when talking about the state of Maine's economy under the Mills administration. But we should start with small business. Maine is a state of 137,000 registered small businesses, more than most any other state per capita in the country. And yet we have the fourth worst small business climate in the country, according to CNBC. How can that be? Maine is also one of the highest tax burden states in the nation, according to the Tax Foundation. Maine has the fifth highest property tax load in the country, the 10th highest corporate tax load in the country. How can this be? How do you grow an economy that way? And here's another powerful and telling development. The Portland economy grew 39% in the last 20 years, and the rest of Maine grew 0. That's right. Rural economy of Maine did not grow at all in the last 20 years. That is the state of the state. Years of performative environmentalism and favorite picking have absolutely ruined our energy marketplace. We've banned Canadian hydropower because it doesn't fit some pinhead academic's idea of renewable energy, but then thrown millions in ratepayer subsidies to performative solar and wind projects that have driven energy costs higher. We even shut down the Dragon cement plant in Thomaston because environmentalists refused them access to natural gas, even though the plant was burning tires at that time. We've also allowed Massachusetts and New York to block our access to affordable American-made natural gas. What are the outputs of this performative environmentalism? Well, last year we had the single highest increase in electric rates in the United States, bringing us now to number 4. We are the fourth highest cost of electricity state in our country. Education. Maine used to be the top state in the country for education when Jock McKernan was governor. Now, Maine is at almost the total bottom of the barrel. 75% of Maine fourth graders cannot read at a fourth grade level. This is an embarrassment and a tragedy. Our education system is far off the rails, and the results prove it. Did you know that the state's education website no longer provides reading and math results? Instead, they provide a series of social justice measures. Why? Well, the Mills administration says that because of AI, it's no longer as important for children to read and do math. Wow. Thanks to an absurd regime of regulations and Soviet-era belief that the state should literally build housing and hand it out to preferred groups, Maine's housing market has made it prohibitively expensive for young families to own a home. State-built affordable housing costs 50% more than market rate to build, while prospective homeowners and builders are forced through harebrained building codes that make it prohibitively expensive to build even the simplest starter homes. Contractors I talk with say that on any given day, on job sites across Maine, 30% of workers are idled waiting for an inspector. What do you think that does to the cost of construction? Here's the state of Maine's housing in a nutshell. Never in our state's history has it been harder for working Mainers to own homes. That is not a legacy Janet Mills should be proud of. Public safety. Misguided policies have resulted in increased crime, deaths, and homelessness in our urban areas while demoralizing our first responders. Did you know that Maine has a law that says it's illegal to arrest someone who has broken into your home as long as they identify as homeless? Or that a police officer cannot arrest someone who is openly shooting up in public if they're homeless? It's true. It's called the Attorney General's Homelessness Protocol, and it's insane. All you have to do is walk down Congress Street in Portland to see the tragic results. Do you know that our state gives away nearly 4 million needles to addicts every year? Your tax dollars are literally funding people shooting up hard drugs. I'm not sure what misguided theory led to this policy, but it's killing people, literally killing them. These policies are having repercussions all across Maine. I've spent a lot of time with law enforcement, and I can tell you that their morale is at an all-time low. These are hard-working Mainers who put their lives on the line every day, but our elected officials are putting barriers in front of them that make them less safe and make their work less productive. I see the state of our state this way. Maine is a marvelous and extraordinary state of marvelous and extraordinary people. But our economy is languishing by pretty much every measure, and this has caused a terrible depression to sink in, a sense of hopelessness and division that has made many Mainers simply give up. But I believe we are also a state of incredible potential that has been victimized by years of misguided leadership, and I believe that our state can flourish once we replace the failed leadership in Augusta with people who actually want to grow our economy and who have the experience in making the kind of changes we need. Here's how we do it. First, we need to reduce the tax burden on families and small businesses. I will immediately cut $1 billion from working Mainers' taxes. That will be about $2,000 per family. Next, we need a nuts and bolts audit of every activity in Augusta, not just a financial audit, but a functional one that weeds out the useless functions that do nothing to move our state forward and automates what's left. We need to make Maine the best state in the nation to do business. We are a small business state, and our economy will grow best when we empower small business and take burdens off of it. We need to make Maine the best state in America to build a home. We need to get rid of useless regulations and other barriers to home building so that our families can finally afford to own their own homes. And we need to return common sense to our public safety. That means supporting our police departments, enforcing common sense laws, and cleaning up the mess in Portland and other urban areas around the state so our citizens feel safe. Unlike what you are likely to hear from Governor Mills, the state of our state right now is not good. But that doesn't mean it can't get better. We are at a critical point where leadership matters more than ever. It was bad leadership choices that got us here, and great leadership can get us back out. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to talking a lot more on all of this with all of you on this campaign in the months ahead.